Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is going to be a brief little review for TRON Uprising Episodes 2 and 3, comprising parts 1 and 2 of the story The Renegade. This is going to be majorly spoilery, so if you haven't seen it, please click the video off now. Otherwise, let's rock and roll. Basically, this follows on the coattails of the premiere episode with the revelation that TRON, that is the real TRON, is alive, though he's a bit worse for wear after years and years of battle. He's encountered our hero Beck, who overnight has become, as the title suggests, both considered a renegade as well as a beacon of hope to all the programs on the grid. This after having defaced a statue of Clue wearing the guise of TRON in the premiere. TRON sets to mentoring Beck as he sees the potential in him to become the next TRON, and as he sets to testing Beck in a light cycle chase through some off-grid canyons, he tells Beck that there could be many setbacks ahead of them, but eventual victory over Clue and his armies can one day be achieved if he'd only believe. Shortly thereafter, as Beck is making his way back home, he's nearly caught by a recognizer, and when he tries to escape the searching guards, he inadvertently stumbles into a transport moving captured programs to the games, all to be overseen by the local leader, General Tessler. Meanwhile, we see that Beck's friends, Zed and Mara, are clubbing it up on their off hours, and Zed is actually approached by a suspicious new program in the form of the female Pearl, who later actually cons him back into his workplace after hours and eventually leads to her stealing the boss's original NCOM light cycle. This does not bode well for Zed. And I have to say, I absolutely loved seeing the little bit file cameo, an homage to the original TRON movie. Loved it. When we get back to Beck, though, we are given some really epically cool action sequences in the form of a disc battle between Beck and his impromptu teammates and the teammates of Tessler's group. And each of his teammates are subsequently brought down one by one until only Beck and one other guy are remaining. When they're brought back to the cell areas, they actually try to escape, but eventually they're caught again by Tessler's right-hand woman, Paige. Beck and his partner are then chained together and forced to duel it out on the light cycle arena, only without light cycles of their own. They're meant to basically pit against 3 light cycle riders from Tessler's group, and somehow they miraculously pull together and win. And this is where things start winding down for part 1 of this two-parter, where basically Tessler orders them to fight once more, only this time for their freedom. But at what cost? The cost of death. And who will they be pitted against? Each other. And so concludes part 1. As we usher into part 2, we see that Beck and his partner, named Cutler, agree not to play Tessler's game of fighting to the death. But Tessler answers this by surrounding the game floor with a slowly closing in on itself energy barrier, and promises them both that if they don't fight, they'll both die. At this point, Beck believes Cutler to be the better man in the slowly building uprising against Clue's armies, and actually tries to prod him on. But their short battle comes to a stalemate, as neither will kill each other. Tessler, moved by his subordinates to show compassion, releases Beck and promises that Cutler will be de-rezzed on the next cycle, and painfully so. At this point, Beck meets up with TRON again, and he explains how he feels like he failed because he left Cutler to die. But TRON insists if Cutler is still alive, he hasn't failed. Not yet. And so Beck dons TRON's guise again to break Cutler free. As this is unfolding, Zed and Mara team up to reclaim their boss's light cycle from the ominous Pearl and her parent crew of bad news programs. By happenstance, as they just barely succeed in getting it back and making an escape, their path crosses with Beck's and Cutler's, who now have Paige on their tails. With a little unexpected help from the real TRON, Beck helps Cutler escape and is home in time to fix up the boss's reclaimed light cycle, for which, I might add, both he and Zed get credit, deservedly so. And then there's one final meeting between Beck and TRON, wherein he basically tells TRON he understands that the road ahead will be tough, but he's ready to do what's necessary. And so we conclude The Renegade. Really, really awesome series so far. I have to say, I love the music. Very inspired by Tron Legacy, which is just awesome. That Daft Punk soundtrack kicks a lot of ass, and the animation, I have to say, has grown on me. I really dig it. It's kind of 2D animation over 3D backgrounds in a sense, and I just really love it. The voice acting is spot on and stellar, although a couple of people could use a cough drop. But you know, I mean, if I'm lucky to keep running into episodes of this, I will definitely continue reviewing it. As a mobile user, it's really hard for me to come by accessible, viewable files of the episodes. But you know, as long as I can watch it, I will definitely continue reviewing it because this is just a stellar series. And yeah, so I definitely dig it. I'd love to hear from you guys if you have caught it and you know what you think of it. Post that in the comments below or as a video response. And otherwise, I'll catch you all later. Peace.